Yes. I'm just looking at this preferential debt, a debt that is to be paid first before debts owed to other creditors. Yes. Then there's that prejudice. Oh, actions favoring one side in a litigation not based upon the merits of the case, but upon the bias and prejudice of a judge. Such an attitude of favoritism displayed by a judge would render him or her unqualified to preside over the matter. Then there's prejudice of judge. Favoritism shown by a judge towards one party in a lawsuit. Oh. Now this preference of debt. I would think the United States would have a preference for their debts being paid first. Yes. But it could be that the European Union has a few debts of their own. Pooch. Could you get me the debt of the European Union as a legislative body? Oh. Now, I know there's a World Bank and there's the International Monetary Fund and there's some of these others that issue debt for the poorer nations of the world. But I'd like to know how much debt does the European Union have since they started in 1999, where they introduced the euro to the other nations, convincing them that it was better for them as a union. Yes. To remove the obstacles of traveling from one nation to another and having one unified currency instead of each state or each country having their own individual currency. I thought they were kind of a back office support for the nations that joined the European Union, and then as I've watched it over the last 20 years, it seemed like they took over a lot of these nations that had to be in the EU, so the euro was going to be the currency of Europe. Pooch! Now, we could go back to when they first converted the currencies to the euro and then look at, well, what's the actual value? See, when you start one of these legislative bodies, yes, that is not an actual sovereign nation, yeah, you can undo them too. You could fire every employee of the European Union. You can. When you start one of these unions, yes, all you do is you fire them all. Now, let's say I went through every employee of the European Union for the last 25 years. I looked at all the legislation they passed. Pooch! Then I looked at exactly what they did as a union to the actual currencies and the economies of the various nations that joined them. Pow! And then I thought, well, why don't I sue them all? Pow! Now they know of the fraud of the United States. Yes, they do. They know that the United States elected and appointed oaths of office are not supporting and defending the Constitution. And for some reason, they allow for the prejudice of a judge. In fact, I sent an email yesterday. Yes, Judge Landis doesn't have any prejudice against me, does she? I mean, as a woman, she's not in the Eastern Star, is she? Ouch! She doesn't have a dog. And then Judge Porter saying, well, I don't have jurisdiction. He's not in the family, is he? Pow, 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 pow. And then there's Judge Kniebs. And then there's Brent Based, the commissioner that thought he'd have court hearings where he wouldn't put it on the actual docket. There's no prejudice in Clallam County against me as a citizen of the United States, that they all thought they were going the way. But let's say I did find out and you did not recuse yourself, because it seemed to me that you cannot be prejudiced against any party in any court case. Now, I know Heidi got here and you issued Ken Williams, ouch, Eastern Star, the Masons, ouch! It could be, okay, that issuing a dissolution of marriage, yes, while at the same moment arresting me and serving me, yes, so that I can't actually read it, yes, putting me in jail, yes, for the violating of a protection order, yes, where I was not given notice or opportunity before you issued it, yes, because I wasn't a resident of Washington State, and for some reason you just keep reissuing it and reissuing it and reissuing it without protecting my right to due process, because the county said that I was crazy, that I needed a mental health evaluation. Now let's look at the European Union. Okay. Are there any employees? Well, get me the debt of the European Union.